This is a question about transitions, and we have to remember that these questions look like they're about grammar and style, but they're actually about the ideas in the passage. So we should use a lot of the same strategies that we use for other ideas questions and for reading questions. So we're going to use dumb summaries to help us out here. Let's start by reading the sentence that contains the transition word and the sentence that comes before. The sentence that comes before definitely has a negative vibe. We're talking about harming wildlife, and that sounds really bad that these things are getting in the supply. So, okay, we need some sort of negative idea, and then what is it transitioning into? Well, Congress passed the Microbead-Free Waters Act, which phased out microbeads in 2017. So we're getting rid of the bad thing, so that's probably a good thing. Now, just using this dumb summary, negative to positive, I understand that there's some sort of contrast here. So words like likewise aren't really going to work. Same with words like for instance, because it's just a word that's saying an example. Now, the second sentence is not an example of the first. It's kind of almost like an unrelated idea. It's talking about how things were bad, and now we've passed this law to make them good. And so that might actually draw us to choice C. We have this contrast nonetheless as a contrast word, but in this case it's a little bit of a trap. It doesn't work mostly because the word nonetheless is very dismissive. It's trying to say that that first thing doesn't actually matter, and so it's trying to get that out of the way. So it is used for contrast, but it's not a good fit for this specific situation. What we want to say is subsequently, which is just a fancy way of saying next. Or then, right? It involves time, and that's definitely what's going on here. The study found that the microbeads were bad, and so next, what they did is they passed this act to get rid of them. So the second thing is kind of like an effect of the first thing. And so another way to kind of think of that word is it is an elaborate kind of way of saying so, getting across that this thing happened and then this other thing. And so that can include a negative to positive transition. That's not usually how that kind of word works, but it does make sense here, and so this is the best fit. So remember, this is not about what sounds best, this is not about grammar, this is about ideas. You got to really pay attention to the ideas in the two sentences and the ideas that these transition words contain. So that's some stuff to memorize there, but once you've got it, these questions aren't so bad.